Now, it may be the technology giant that revolutionised how we interact with the internet and listen to music. But is Apple also a corporate bully that forced up the price of electronic books? That's the argument currently being played out in a civil court in Manhattan. The US Justice Department claims the company's late founder, Steve Jobs, was active in the illegal efforts to control prices. Our business correspondent, Sarah Smith, is with me now. Sarah.
Katie, in that courtroom in Manhattan today, the US government produced reams of evidence which they say tell the inside story of how Apple illegally conspired to raise the price of ebooks. And we've got our very own e-reader here to help us through the evidence. Think back to 2010, and Amazon were selling ebooks for $9.99. The publishers hated this. They thought this was far too cheap. Now, around about the same time, Apple were planning to launch the iPad, and they were going to be selling ebooks themselves that could be read on the iPad. Now, it was mentioned in court today. Steve Jobs was quoted in his own biography as going to publishers around that time and saying, "You set the price, and we get our 30%, and yes, the customer pays a little bit more, but that's what you want anyway."
So the publishers would put the price up?
Yes. Publishers at the time were charging for a physical hardback book $25 to $35. They cost a comparable amount here. And they were worried they wouldn't be able to get away with prices like this if ebooks were going for as cheap as $9.99. Apple is then accused of going to 5 major publishing houses and conspiring with them to change the way the ebooks were priced so that it would cost the customer a little bit more. There is even an email from Steve Jobs to James Murdoch, who was at News Corp, which owns HarperCollins Publishing House. And it says, heck, Amazon is selling these books at $9.99. Throw in with Apple and create a real mainstream market at $12.99 and $14.99.
So the killer question, did the price of ebooks go up?
Well, let's have a look. Here is a graph produced by the US government. Here is the date that the iPad was launched, 1st of April 2010. You can see what's been happening to the price of ebooks. On that day, it shoots up. Each one of these lines represents one of the 5 publishing houses that Apple is accused of conspiring with. Now, Apple say they haven't done anything wrong. They deny that there was any kind of conspiracy, that they didn't get together with these 5 publishers. The publishing houses, though, interestingly, have chosen not to defend themselves in court. They've all settled with the US government. This case will go on for another few weeks. If Apple are found guilty, the US government say they're not looking for financial damages from them, but it would open them up to civil suits from consumers who say that they've lost out, and that could cost them millions of dollars.
Sarah Smith, thanks very much.